Alright, starting off with a callback to Book 1, In Omnia Gallia. Then we get a genitive. And it probably doesn't go with Gallia. Genitives typically go with the noun closest to them, but I probably wouldn't say in all Gaul of these people. Right? So it needs to go with another noun. And it's not going to be inside the relative clause, so I'm just going to keep on going. There it is. There's my next noun. There are duo genera of eorum hominum, and then the qui can easily refer back to the hominum for my relative clause. Qui sunt, right? And then aliquo goes with numero, ablative of description, who are of aliquo numero and honore, some numero and some honore. He's like, all right, so we got two kinds of people that matter. And then he says, okay, so only two are of numero and honore. For the plebes, this is not one of the two, right? He's explaining why only two are of numero and honore. For the plebes, which is a plural, but it's grammatically treated as a singular, is habetered. And again, we have this genitive. I don't know why I have it in a different color. We have this genitive. The plebes, pines, it's not going to make sense to take it with plebes, so I'm going to look for another noun. The loco of servorum will make sense. And then pine is an adverb. Adverbs can describe adjectives, verbs, or other adverbs, and so I'm going to have to just go straight to the verb, right? For the plebes is almost habetered, is almost considered in the loco of servorum. Then my qui is feminine, so it has to refer back to the plebes, not to the loco. The plebes, the plebs, which audets, right? Which audets nihil per se. Yeah, this is my relative clause, but it's pretty straightforward clause. But it really continues, which audets nihil per se, comma, and different, switching the voice, but still the subject of adhibeter must be the qui, which audets nihil per se is adhibetered in nullo concilio. So my relative clause truly ends there. It's almost like I need an and, right? Two indicative main clauses connected there. Well, indicative subordinate clauses, really. Oops, it should be an and. Ampersand. Plerique, the majority, and I get cum, and it's not followed by an ablative, so I know right away I'm in a cum clause. All the way to a verb. That verb is indicative. So I can translate my cum as when, and not really have to worry about that. The majority, when, out ire alieno, out plus the ablative, out magnitudine, out plus the ablative, out injuria, potentially out plus the ablative. Okay, so I'm going to say when they are premuntered, either ire alieno, or by the magnitudine of tributorum, or by the injuria of the genitive, right? The genitive goes with the injuria, the tributorum genitive goes with the magnitudine. So by the ire alieno, or by the magnitudine of tributorum, or by the injuria of potentiorum, comparative. It's an adjective. We can tell it's the comparative adjective form, but it is operating as a noun, right? Like more potentiorum people, men. It just doesn't have the noun with it. So when that happens to many of the plebes, to the majority of them, they decant se into servitudem to nobilibus, right? Dative of reference there to nobilibus. In hos, when you use in plus the accusative and you're talking about people, you can say like over them or for them. But yeah, in plus the accusative of people is a little bit different. It can also be against them. Like Cicero's speeches that are prosecution speeches are titled in plus the accusative of the person's name. Not into varies, but against varies, aimed at varies. So like aimed at these people, there are omnia eadem jura. eadem, good old Ecce Romani, chapter 1 word. They're all the same, jura. Quae, which, relative clause, dominis in servos, and relative clause, doesn't have a verb, missing a form of sum, and when I'm missing a verb, I can also look to the most recent verb, which in this case was sunt, and that's going to make sense here, so I'm just going to use it. There are omnia eadem jura, which there are for dominis over their servos. Right, so when the pleri decant se into servitudinem to nobilibus, over them there are eadem omnia jura quae, which there are dominis over servos. That makes sense. Okay, so the plebs doesn't count, is what he just told us, right? There are two people there are two genera which are of numero and honore. For the plebs, blah blah blah, are basically servi, they don't count, right? Sed de his duobus generibus, but concerning, right, de plus the ablative, concerning or about, but about these duobus generibus, alter est druidum, alterum equitum. Got two alters, so one is neuter, because it's really referring to like a genus, which is neuter. One genus is, and then I'm like, what's going on with druidum? Since alterum was actually nominative singular neuter, druidum, totally different, is in the genitive case. So one type is of druids, or one is a race of druids, or a class of druids. The other, a class of knights. Here it makes sense, since we're not talking about war, to say knights rather than cavalrymen. Illy, those guys. And when you say those guys, as opposed to these guys, in your writing, what you mean is the former, the farther away one, those guys. The genus druidum inter sunt rebus divinis. That goes together, same case. Comma, sacrificia publica ac privata, new verb, procurant. Okay, so they inter sunt, they procurant. And lastly, religiones interpretanter. Right? They do that. They do three things. There's no and. It's okay. Odd-hos. Odd takes the accusative case. Magnus does not go with hos. Wouldn't make sense anyway. Magnus, adjulas gentium, numerous. Magnus goes with numerous, and there's a genitive in between them. That genitive goes with the noun next to them, so that's numerous. So odd-hos, to these guys, a magnus numerus of adjulas gentium, disciplinae causa. Causa is technically an ablative. For the sake, by the cause, but for the sake, and it always has a genitive preceding it, for the sake of this. Okay. A magnus numerus adjulas gentium, disciplinae causa, concurrits odd-hos. And magno doesn't go with he, because they're different cases. Sunt apud eos, apud goes with magno goes with honore. So that's good to note. Nouns and adjectives going together. He looks like my subject. I got a verb. And I have he with a form of sum, or I have a form of sum. It's not linking it to anything. These guys are. So what it's linking it in a way is with an ablative. And when I have just a nominative and a form of sum and an ablative, it's describing them. These guys are magno honore. Like, of magno honore, in magno honore, it's just an ablative description. So among them, apud eos, among the discipuli, right, the numerus adjulas gentium, these druids are magno honore. Held in, really, is what's missing. They are held in magno honore. And it's the same honore that we saw up here, right? They are held in aliquo numero and aliquo honore, right? Ablative description. Okay. And then it's like, okay, so they got a lot of honore. Why, right? Here we go. Nam, for, there is an adverb, so it can go with an adjective. It could be going with omnibus, that's an adjective. It could be going with a verb, that would make less sense. Or it could be going with another adverb, which we don't have. And since the adjective comes first, it's probably go with omnibus. So for over or concerning, fere omnibus controversiis, publicis and privatis, they constituent. And see, and I've mentioned this in videos before, after the word see, words like aliquid and aliquis, or as we have here, aliquod, and even aliquot, another forms of those. I wrote another note. Aliquid can take the genitive, where we had literally something of wine would be some wine. It's a separate thing about aliquid. But after the word see, or nisi, or num, or ne, there's a little rhyme. After see, nisi, num, and ne, all the ollies go away. So if you see and then a Q word, it's probably aliquid. So this see quod is probably see aliquod. Aliquod operates like the indefinite adjective, like quidam, quidam, quodam. And so I'm looking for something neuter, singular, that this quod could be going with, and it looks like it's facinus. If some facinus has been admissumed, if a caides has been factad, if concerning hereditate, concerning finibus, new case, new thing, controversia est, right? If there is a controversia, idem they decernant, right? Another thing that these plural guys do, right? The same as the subjective constituent. If there's all these things, they decernant. Also, right? And, well, no, not that and. Also, primia and poinos, they constituent. See, oh, there's a C after see, nisi, num, and ne. All the ollies go away. If aliqui, someone, either a privatus or a populus, aorum, decreto, all by itself, like, we'll give it a nice little ablative translation. Decreto non stedet, then what happens, right? If that's the case, sacrificiis ablative interdicunt. Okay. Haec poina, oh, sorry, worth pointing out. Sacrificiis interdicunt. Interdico is a verb, yeah, look it up, give it a good definition, but interdico, to forbid, interdict, if you want that English cognate, probably prohibit is the word that's mostly used by us. Debar works in some situations. They prohibit them. They forbid them from sacrificiis. So this is a verb that causes separation. So then this ablative here is an ablative of separation. It's what we're being kept out of, right? What we're being separated or forbidden from. So ablative of separation. Haec poina, right? Because you don't want to be interdicunted from sacrificiis. Haec poina, apud eos est gravissima. Quibus ita est interdictum, impersonal verb, like, so this dative, like, for whom, for those whom it has thus been interdictumed. These guys, new case, in the numero of impiorum and sceleratorum, they are habentered. They are habentered in the numero of these. Dative or ablative. Omnes decedunt. And that's a verb that causes separation if you look up its meaning. So this is also an ablative of separation. So omnes decedunt from his. I'm going to run out of time. They defugiunt, the auditum and the sermonum. Oh, there's a ne. After si, nisi, num, and ne, all the ollies go away. So this quid is actually, you can't read it. It's actually an aliquid. Okay.